Hello, I'm Pastor Heath. Today we're looking at Proverbs chapter 10, verse 14. Wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. Tremendous blessing comes in storing up knowledge. Knowledge of who God is and of all that He has done. First and foremost, through Jesus Christ. And also what He has done for us throughout our daily lives, especially when we face the difficult trials of life. When we hold these things in our heart, remembering all that God has done, it's like building up a massive treasury of great wealth. And in times of trouble, we can recall God's faithfulness to love, to protect, to provide, and to save. But when we don't recognize God's goodness and mercy, and when we don't hold them as a treasure in our hearts, how quickly we forget about all the things He has done. And in the time of trouble, we don't call on His name. Instead, we foolishly try to figure out how to do things on our own and with our own thinking. Such a lifestyle leads to destruction. Take King Asa, for example. He ruled over the kingdom of Judah. As a young man, he did what was right in God's eyes. He went throughout all the land and broke down the altars and the idols of false gods. He destroyed their worship places. He built up the cities of Judah, and he built an army of over 300,000 soldiers. And then King Asa's first great trial came. The Ethiopian army came against Judah. It was an army of more than 1 million strong soldiers. King Asa and Judah were outnumbered and overpowered by the strength of this massive army. And so, King Asa opened his mouth and called upon God for help. And God intervened and struck down the armies of Ethiopia. As a result, King Asa, with greater passion, continued breaking down and destroying altars and idols in Judah. And all the people rededicated themselves to seeking only God. And King Asa dedicated many riches to the house of God, namely gold and silver. And then many years later, another great trial came. This time it was the kingdom of Israel that came against Judah. This was a time to recall what God had done in the past and to draw from the blessings of the storehouse of knowledge and call upon God for help. Only King Asa didn't do that. Instead, he foolishly called upon Syria, trusting in them to help. He even paid them with the gold and the silver that he had once dedicated to God's house. God sent a prophet to King Asa, warning him to never forget the Lord and never forget what God had done. But this just made the king bitter. Later in life, King Asa developed a disease in his feet. Surely now he would call upon God for healing, but he didn't. Instead, he trusted in physicians who couldn't heal him and they couldn't save him. In the end, he did not store up knowledge, and he died of his disease, and he became the fool of destruction. Never forget who God is and all that He has done. Be wise and call upon God for help in the day of trouble. God bless you.